Prior to the Ukrainian crisis, Urals city of Verkhnyaya Salda predicted global leadership on processing of titanium products for the aircraft and aerospace industry. It is a gigantic area of innovation. By 2031 it is planned to invest in the scientific and technological cluster 64.5 billion rubles. Now this project has serious difficulties. It was September 21, 2015 reported the portal Uralinformbjuro, referring to the words of Manager of Business Development Sergey Lednova. Business against the policy. With the full commissioning of the complex in Verkhnyaya Salda, Russia could produce titanium fuselage parts up to 7 meters in length, thus to double its share of the global market for titanium products. For aircraft manufacturing plants, including foreign ones, such cooperation would be highly advantageous. Sharply reduced to the value of the aircraft, along with VSMPO-AVISMA would increase the value added of their products. According to Sergey Lednova, the situation is difficult for political reasons. First of all, it turns further cooperation on the development of Titanium Valley Boeing frozen for an indefinite time and participation in the project of the corporation Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. At the same time, the urgent need for titanium products makes Western business blind eye to the cries of their governments. August 25, 2015 the same company Boeing and VSMPO-AVISMA Corporation have reached an agreement to supply titanium forgings for the composite wing liner 777X, which will begin production in 2017. Recall that the above companies already have joint UBM plant in the city of Verkhnyaya Salda, which are made of titanium products for aircraft Boeing 787-8 and 787-9 Dreamliner. In addition, VSMPO-AVISMA Corporation is involved in new programs Airbus, including A320neo airliners, the A350XWB, and developing printer 3D printing with titanium powder. Within the framework of this cooperation, the Russian titanium is used for the production of landing gear components and engine pylons, and the wing of the aircraft the European Aircraft Consortium. This summer has been signed 3 new agreement with Rolls-Royce for the period from 2016 to 2025 years. It signed a major contract for the supply of titanium China Aviation Industry Corporation AVIC Aircraft Company Ltd, Xi'an branch. America on titanium leash. Titanium is key to U.S. security. Although overseas media is not particularly positioned that our space metal is widely used in the production of the latest American aircraft, according to the head of Carmit Strategic Group Daniel McCrory, Russian holding U.S. titanium leash. In particular, statistics of corporations, Boeing and United Technology shows that on imports of U.S. titanium metal reaches 79%. According to them, if Russia, or rather the company VSMPO-AVISMA under state control, and is the world's only full-cycle production, apply counter-sanctions, then, in fact, buy this metal will be nowhere. In 1998, the State Strategic Reserve of the United States military has 34,800 metric tons of titanium. In 2005 there was not a gram. Despite regular publication, in the medium term will be developed analog composite titanium. In reality this may not happen before 2030. In any case, such a cautious forecast was made in the corporation Boeing. In other words, in America the need for unique metal significantly higher than the volume of its own production. Accordingly, it will grow and the company's dependence on Russian titanium United States, says Daniel McCrory. Ukrainian partner. More recently, an information portal Metal Bulletin reported a decrease in dependence of the Russian company VSMPO-AVISMA supplies of ilmenite concentrate from Ukraine. According to the data, until September 2014 demand fully met by raw materials and Volnogorsk-Irshinsk plants. These enterprises were built in the Soviet Union in the framework of industrial cooperation. Meanwhile, Ukraine has long been a popular belief that the production of Russian titanium is in absolute dependence on these GOK. At the time, Yulia Tymoshenko seriously threatened to cut off supplies of raw materials, demanding lower gas prices. Also raised the issue of the transfer of industrial production of titanium from Russia to Ukraine. In particular, Paul Rozhenenko, deputy head of the Special Commission for the Privatization of the Verkhovna Rada, and a former member of the board of directors of VSMPO-AVISMA Corporation, argued that the ilmenite concentrate Russia never buy, then you can dictate the terms. In any case, technologically simple processing plants, square brought Ukraine solid earnings and dividend policy, and without a serious investment on the part of tenants. This explains the fierce battle local oligarchs for these resources. In September 2014, the structure of the Group Privat, controlled by Ukrainian oligarch Kolomoisky, made raider capture Volnogorsk mining and processing plant, and, as it turned out, killed the goose that laid the golden egg. Russia refused to buy raw materials from this company. For the record, during the period from 2006 to 2014, Ukrainian titanium industry produced goods for 7.1 billion hryvnia, or about $2 billion in the prices of the day. Incidentally, the above-mentioned investments in mine were some tens of millions of dollars. There was the usual oligarchical milking. However, in this scenario, and when the total taxes do not exceed 17% of revenues, were listed fairly large sums into the coffers of independents. For example, in 2013 Irshinsky GOK paid taxes totaling $169 million hryvnia. In 2014, this figure fell by a third. Ukrainian expert Alexander Yakovkuk wrote in this regard, the cabinet carries out reform for the sake of reform. Positive decade of experience in mine development and Volnogorsk-Irshinsk MMC was, simply, is crossed. Russian alignment. VSMPO-AVISMA Corporation provides full titanium products, our defense industry in all areas, including submarine of Project 885 Ash and Project 995 Bori missile Topol M and the P-30 Bulava, as well as combat aircraft and helicopter. In addition, a very significant part of the total production is exported. Revenue Titanium Corporation in 2014 amounted to $1.63 billion. But Russia is really dependent on the Ukrainian ilmenite concentrate required for production of titanium. Immediately after the coup, and the transition of Kiev-Crimea under Russian jurisdiction, VSMPO-AVISMA has created a 9-month reserve of raw materials. At the same time, work was carried out to find an alternative source of ilmenite concentrate. It's no secret that at present, many third-world countries are actively working on the resource areas that do not require sophisticated technology. It concerns an ilmenite enrichment, which bid on world markets today is redundant. In other words, the Russian titanium industry to choose from. As a result, VSMPO-AVISMA Titanium Diversified Procurement of Raw Materials, said it plans to buy 40% of the volume in Australia and Ukraine. The rest, in Africa and in Vietnam. The need to own raw materials. It is important to add that the production of titanium has a high added value, in which the raw material costs do not exceed 2%. At the same time, the use of ilmenite concentrate from other sources is accompanied by a correction process. Simply put, the manufacturer, to ensure the purity of titanium, it would be easier to recycle the same raw materials. At the time, VSMPO-AVISMA tried to extract raw materials in Ukraine by acquiring Demurinsky mining plant. The transaction was unsuccessful because the Russian company refused to rent Volkansk deposits of titanium zirconium ores. As they say in Ukraine, buyers have divorced on the money, about 300 million rubles. In addition, huge amounts of money have been invested in the company VSMPO Titanium Ukraine, which produces titanium tubes. It is about 1.2 to 1.5 billion rubles of investments. Now the fate of the project depends entirely on the political situation, as it is known, is now extremely unfavorable for the owner. By the way, Daniel McCrory in its review referred to the enterprise, located in the Dnipropetrovsk region, as an interesting asset for the United States. Meanwhile, some of the investment that went into the troubled country, just not enough to develop their own Tambov deposits central. It would be possible to provide completely AVISMA domestic raw materials. Now plans for the extraction of ilmenite, rutile, and zirconium sands moved in 2016, only the money is now to go veto.